Qualen.
Oh, he has snapped at this point.
Literally and literally and figuratively,
well,
and mentally.
His whole
He's
plan
been pushed
has gone
over the
from,
edge.
Yep.
literally and figuratively. His whole his whole plan has gone from be financially stable for the rest of my life to I want to hurt this man.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only thing that he can do. Like, the only thing that can change from now to half an hour from now is, can I hurt him?
All that's left is rage.
All that's left is rage. That should have been the tagline for this movie, Cliffhanger. All that's left is rage.
Yes.
Wow. All that's left is rage.
When life pushes you over the edge of the cliff.
I love it. And listen,
I love that of the cliff.
It's Shakespearean how Qualen loses it. And I like that Gabe throws the money, because Gabe could just throw the money. It's kind of punk rock what Gabe does when he throws that money into those blades.
It's a total brat move.
We have a final fight with bites, brat moves, just a wailing Qualen.
Wailing Qualen?
Yeah, and just...
That sounds like a doll that cries. This Christmas, get the kids the wailing Qualen.
Or like a folksy rock country band.
Dang you, Walker! I mean, it's beautiful. And I gotta say, I've watched many fights in my life.
Well, Megan in the kitchen all the time. Yeah, for sure.
I gotta go mop up blood later.
Scrappy Megs.
But I do love the one-arm catch. So Stallone can no longer hang from the ladder with one arm. So he falls and catches himself with one arm on the helicopter.
Now, did you notice, guys? You're very observant of this. Stallone's running from the helicopter on the top of the mountain, and then the winch gets involved, and he's stuck on the ladder, and the tail swings out, and in one shot, Stallone puts his hand up and grabs the miniature. Like it's out of scale. It looks like he's grabbed his hand onto the hanging down part where you hang off it and shoot your gun when you're in the police force.
Yeah, the hanging down thing. Yeah,
the hanging down part. But it looks like it's going to hit him in the head, and he puts his hand up and stops it. And in the next scene, it's like way bigger and it's elsewhere. But yeah, Stallone protects himself from the miniature helicopter in one scene. It appears to me, anyways, and it was just left in there.
I think we're gonna have to go rewatch it.
Do you think that Tom Cruise saw this movie and ripped it off in Mission Impossible 2 and Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol?
Of course.
I'm not saying anything bad about Tom Cruise because I don't want to be in his bad books. You just don't want to.
It's not ripping it off. It's called inspiration.
Oh, that's what it is. I mean, Spielberg drew a lot of inspiration from Hitchcock, so I used the wrong word. Do you think Tom Cruise drew inspiration from Cliffhanger?
I think that Mission Impossible is very derivative of this movie.
Yes.
There you go. See?
I mean, you have the mountains, you have and wait. Mission Impossible Fallout has the final cliff fight.
Mm-hmm.
And Mission Impossible 2, he starts hanging from a cliff. Exactly.
Mission Impossible Dubai, he's hanging off that building.
Yep.
Mission Impossible Dubai.
Ghost Protocol. The Mission Impossible bread store.
Mission Impossible bread store. They need to just start doing Mission Impossible and then a country. That needs to be the new thing. Mission Impossible Denmark.
They'll be like the NCIS or CSI shows.
Oh. Now, before we get out of here,
Mission Impossible Canada.
I just want to ask y'all what moment you liked better. The neck wrench when John Lithgow's beefy fingers are twerking on Stallone's neck. Or kind of hybrid rear naked choke. I watched in a movie Lithgow have Stallone in a rear naked choke. He busted out some jujitsu on Stallone. What's the better movie, the neck crank or the rear naked choke, Megan?
Rear naked for me. That's a blood choke if you get it in there right.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I love a good neck crank because, I mean, unless you're Liam Neeson's and nonstop and snapping necks like butter, the neck crank it's just going to crank your neck. And it's going to hurt you for a couple months. You're going to remember that Qualen was cranking on your neck.
I mean, unless you have truly vice-like mitts that are massive enough to crush a windpipe, it's not going
to... Would that drive you a little bit crazy, though? If you were just, like, at a Christmas party, and then Gabe and Jesse show up, and he keeps rubbing his neck. He's just like, he just kind of winces. Doesn't say anything. he just winces and rubs it a little bit. And you're like, oh, are you okay? He's like, oh, yeah, it's just when I was doing the helicopter fight against the crazy guy a month ago, he really cranked him on. Hey, it's no big deal. It's no big deal. And he just works it into the conversations. You're trying to have a Christmas party, and all of a sudden he's telling you about this adventure he's gone on. Like, I think it'd get old quick.
You're playing charades, and he jumps up and goes, oh, my neck. He's all excited to say, Dumbo. But then he jumps up and hurts his neck. Oh, Lithgow did this to me in Italy.
Make it all about you.
Yeah.
Right. Again. It's all about me.
I thought you were going to go down the path of if you had hands big enough to just instantly crush a neck, how inconvenient would that be at a Christmas party to pick up hors d'oeuvres? That's where I thought we were going.
I'm thinking Lithgow, of all the actors in the world, I'm thinking maybe, okay, this is who I see in my head who can crush walnuts. And I'm going to say 5 people before we get out here.
Okay.
Clancy Brown.
Yeah.
John Lithgow. Michael Jai White.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Aubrey Plaza.
I'm down with that, yep.
And that really cool guy from Train to Busan who beats up everybody.
Oh, the big guy.
Yeah. Or Chong Li.
The one with the
Bolo
pregnant
Young.
wife.
Yeah.
Bolo Young.
One of those guys. That's my 5 who could crack walnuts with their hands.
I think that you're 100% right. That would be.
So
except for Al Pacino as Big Boy in Dick Tracy. Walnuts. Very healthy.
He's crushing those things. And Jimmy Walnuts.
Yeah. Crushing the walnuts.
All right, Meg, what do you got before we get out of here?
Going back to what you guys have both said about, stunts being realistic, and we really build up with this fighting style, and we build up Stallone's credibility throughout the movie of what he's capable of at the end. I found it completely believable by the end. So the last time we see him after the fight is he's hanging one hand on a rock, and he lets go and grabs with the other hand because he's got his foot on a little ledge. Mm-hmm. After that, it cuts to a nice pan of some mountains out there in the world. He's climbing up the rock face. Yes, they have a cable tied around his middle, but he has climbed his way up there, and you believe it at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's not a great fighter, but he's an excellent cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm. He'd be great on American Ninja Warrior.
He would. Stallone, that's a great point, Megan, because they said that he did 95% of his stunts.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I love about movies? When you believe the hero. When I watched Sicario, I believe that Benicio del Toro could kill everybody. When I watch Gladiator,
terrifying.
I think Russell Crowe has 0 problems beating people up. When I watch Jumper, I believe that Hayden Christensen can actually jump through space and time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In Cliffhanger,
he's the rich man's Ryan Phillippe. Let's be honest.
Interesting. What just happened?
That's like the opposite of when we did Steel Dawn. I was like, it's the Kmart Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the Target version.
So, no, you're right. I would 100% buy him hanging on a cliff.
But the first thing that happens when he gets over the cliff at the end is how Michael Rooker says, I thought you were in shape.
He's dogging on him. They became buds again.
Surreal.
Michael Rooker's been limping and complaining the whole movie, and he's going to rip on Stallone? Like, give me a break.
And Stallone's response is, I guess I'm falling apart.
Yeah.
I love this movie. And in the behind-the-scenes footage, I just love, though, that Rooker, they act like, Rooker, what do you think about Stallone? And it pained him to say this. He's like, yeah, he's in really good shape. Like, he didn't want to say it. But Stallone worked himself in just a big hunk of metal in this movie. And Rooker gave him props, which hurt. I bet you that took a year off Rooker's life.
He could probably crack walnuts with his forearms, Stallone, at the end of this.
Easily. He could crack Lithgow cracking a walnut.
It's like Tobey Maguire, though, in Spider-Man. So they showed up to the trainer, him and Willem Dafoe, to get in shape. And so, like, okay, Toby, like, here's what we're going to do for you, blah, blah, blah. And then Lithgow gets there, takes off his shirt, and the trainer's like, you're fine, because he was already, like, shredded.
Oh, Willem Dafoe?
Yeah. Like, nice. He went in, and they're like, no, you're good. You can just continue what you're doing. And then Tobey Maguire was like, yeah, so I had to go beef up to be Spider-Man, but Dafoe shows up, and he's good to go. He's just fine. He's already a super villain.
Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
Dafoe. Now, I got 2 questions for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
What was a better front kick? The soccer kick to the face with the commentary, or the keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times kick.
This is all Mark territory. Mark loves front kicks.
Well, my favorite kick is when he gets back onto the airplane and he kicks out and Lithgow flips around and hits his face on the, what did you call it? The helicopter leg thingy that people sit on when people shoot? The runners?
The hang down part.
Yes.
The line that I do have a hard time going, keep your feet and legs inside. I could never think about that at 10,000 feet. Fist fighting John Lithgow in his bear claws.
I mean, maybe he was plotting it from the beginning of the fight, just saving it.
Just waiting. But can I pick that as my favorite kick?
You can. And I want to say this to you, Mark. For 6 years of my life, I ran an oil and lube shop, like an automotive shop. That was like my job. I managed this place. And I said, like, I need this to be, nobody wants to spend money coming in here. Like, nobody goes to get an oil change being like, yes, I get to spend $30 on my car. It's not going to really affect anything. I'm not going to see any big difference. This is money I want to spend. So I said, I need to give them an experience when they come in here so they'll at least want to come back here when they need to spend it again. And so I have like my bits that I do, and I kind of like did a little shtick. And the end of every oil change I did, I would open the door for people, and I'd say, keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. And I'd close it like they're going on a roller coaster when they left. And I did that for 40 cars a day for 6 years. So when Stallone said it, I was like, I think that's where I got it from.
Wow. That's interesting.
You should write a management book.
Somehow I manage, and I'd be shrugging on the cover.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, man. With your arms out, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so man. No neck.
The other question for you, both of you, I'm used to saying my question for Mark, but Megan's here, and it's fantastic. So question for both of you. Objectively, now we're doing a cliffhanger pod. This is our second cliffhanger pod, so clearly we are cliffhanger fans. We're fan hangers.
Whoa.
What is objectively the better Stallone helicopter fight? Cliffhanger or Rambo First Blood Part 2?
Cliffhanger.
Ooh, yeah, Cliffhanger.
I love Rambo First Blood Part 2, but I like his bow and arrow work more.
Okay. Yeah.
I just like how this is such an interesting final fight.
It is not a typical final fight at all. It breaks all our preconceived final fight notions.
No, when Mark told me that we were going to do this final fight, I'm waiting to the end for some sort of, fist fight that we're just building up to on, I don't know, like flat land somewhere or whatnot. But this was not what I was expecting, and that was really fun.
So yeah, this isn't a gully they're fighting in. This is on a cliff face.
I'm going to say, watching it, I saw this movie in the theater with my dad. Watching it then, and even rewatching it when we watched it for the original pod, which I hadn't seen it in years, I was surprised there actually was a final fight. Because just with Lithgow's character and Stallone's character, I thought, well, them duking it out mano a mano is not going to be a fight. In my mind, I couldn't see it. So I said, it just makes sense for that first helicopter fall for there to be a big explosion.
Mm-hmm.
But then they took it one step further and did a hanging helicopter fight, which blew my mind. So yeah, I didn't see it coming, and then you were blessed with this little back and forth here.
Greatest movie ever made.
Cliffhanging helos.
Cliffhanging helos.
It's so when you watch this movie, and this is beautiful because we watch so many movies that when there's something new or something different, it sticks out to us. And this is a film where John Lithgow works Stallone's body.
Yep.
Stallone bites Lithgow. This is not something you see in film. This is not... Stallone doesn't bite people.
It's not a hero move.
Mm-mm.
He's losing, and he chomps onto the forearm of John Lithgow.
Well, neither is shredding the money. Those aren't really hero moves. That's not doing anyone necessarily any good. I also love the moment at the end when the cops show up in their own helicopter and they're talking to Michael Rooker, and he says, if you're looking for Qualen, he's 4,000 feet south of here, and he's dead, and he's buried in the helicopter or something like that. And the cops just go, good. The cops fully support the mass death of all these villains and the destruction of the money. It's not Megan, what you expect.
You just blew my mind, because I had never thought about this, but the money's still stolen. Like, they steal it, And then Stallone burns it,
Yeah.
which is a federal crime, and then throws it into the helicopter,